Hey there, I'm Alanis here at Post Everything Fest in LA, talking to Great Falls here with.
Damian Johnston.
Shane Mailing.
Nick Parks.
I got one.
Oh, yeah.
So
got
yeah,
one.
how you guys feeling after playing your set? This is like kind of wrapping up your tour that you guys were all just on.
Well, actually, we wrapped up our tour in on the 20th
Chicago.
in Chicago, and then we flew home, and then just came back down flew down just for this. So
We flew down this afternoon and we're flying back tomorrow morning.
Yeah, nice little one-off for you then.
yeah.
Yeah, so so tonight was my first time seeing you guys play, and I gotta say that was one of the most like physical performances I've ever seen a band do. I mean, it's not often you see the bassist charge the crowd on song one. Have you
I
guys,
see it a lot, but
You see it a lot. You see it when you go to work. Yeah. So like, are your like, what inspires you to be that physical during shows? Because like the music itself is extremely emotional and powerful, but yet to get involved in such a way, has that always been a part of like Great Falls repertoire?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just sort of the feeling like you're I grew up seeing certain bands kind of just give it their all, and that always meant a lot to me, and I just kind of feel like I think we all sort of think that you know a band that sort of just gets up there and does everything they can until they're exhausted is sort of the way to do it. I mean, I think if we finished a set and we weren't tired, I think we'd feel like we kind of half-assed it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the only exercise I get, so I try to make use of it.
Yeah, and then also opening up the set by no Mike's vocal, like the no Mike screams, was just like an impressive show of force as well. Like, how long have you been doing that? And like, because I mean, you guys have been around for what 16-ish years now.
Yeah, I just started that when this record came out.
Okay.
I've always liked like off mic singing. I think it's fun, and it's kind of a way to, you can take a little bit of that like studio effect of like distant vocals or something and just do it that way. And I find like even giant venues you can still scream and like your voice carries pretty well. So it's it's fun. It's hard for me to do it every single night sometimes when I have to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It could be a little draining. On that last tour in Chicago, like I think the last 3 shows during that part, I kept like my vision would kind of flutter out and I'd get lightheaded. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking pass out up here, but that's just because I'm 50 years old. So
Awesome if you passed out.
I
Song-
thought I was
song
gonna pass out
one.
during a sailing thing.
Just a crash and
Well, you're doing some vocals behind the kit yourself, so you just got to pick up that torch and sing and play the whole time now too.
I would never. Absolutely not.
Be the next Genesis.
yeah.
So like, it's like good thing I like the Carpenters. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first like saw you guys play, and I remind like this new record especially reminds me a lot of like Cold River Songs by Body Choke. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're like a heavier band out of England from like the '90s. They was like super noisy.
I should.
We'll check them out.
They're really good. Cold River Songs. It's a tremendous record. And also the album cover is very similar to it. Not like identical, but has like that red like outline on top with like a face on it. It's like super cool.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Check it
Like and I mean that not to say like it's like a rip off. Like it's like a
I mean,
it's
it's
like
possible I saw that somewhere. And
no, because like you guys don't sound identical, but it's just like that force. Like they're both like you guys are both very powerful like bands. Coming from Seattle though, what are some of your inspirations up there? Because when most people think of Seattle, their immediate thought isn't to think of like heavier sludge based like metal. Where do you draw these influences from?
is there much from Seattle that it's? I mean,
Or
I
like your personal.
I started in I came up in the 90s being in like straight edge hardcore stuff like so when from me Seattle bands in the 90s was like The Accused or Brotherhood or something were things I really cared about. But when I started finding this sort of music, it was really bands like the first couple Today's Day records, a band out of Cleveland called Craw, which is my favorite band still to this day. Space Boy out of Santa Barbara is a big influence. There's a lot of noise rock. Jesus Lizard was always Jesus Lizard. Actually, there's a lot of probably influence in the live show there too, because they had like a kind of a noisy band with like a kind of hostile, aggressive frontman. We like that. We liked the myth of how crazy Black Flag was, although it turned out they were pretty boring. Big Black was, we saw. I never got to
Albini stuff.
Steve
Oh,
Albini
yeah.
stuff. Like I remember we were telling each other in this band we were in called Playing Enemy. Like every night we'd be like, be Black Flag. Let's be Black Flag tonight. We're gonna be fucking crazy. And then we were on that tour. We just kept saying that to ourselves. Like, let's just make sure we we're aggressive, we're intense. Let's have a little bit of fear with our sadness. It's gonna be great. And then we watched a video of like one of Black Flag's last shows, and it was the most boring shit I'd ever seen.
He had like long hair. And
Oh, it's so bad. It was the worst Rollins era. And then we watched a video of Big Black playing their last show, and it was the most intense, incredible thing we had seen. We're like, fuck that, be Big Black, be Big Black.
I remember when I discovered songs about fucking when I was like a freshman in college, and like I'm from Chicago originally, so like I like listen up and that starts off, it just starts off with that just straight down tune. It's just like, oh, it's one of the best noise rock albums there is. Yeah,
It's great.
like just yells the incoherent does not black metal, and then it's just like what, and then just takes off from there and doesn't stop for like the next like 30 minutes. It's like one of the most electrifying albums ever. And also I loved interviews with Steve Albini. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just like a plumber who does engineering and mixing and mastering. It's like, don't sell yourself short, dude. You've mixed for Godspeed You Black Emperor, Nirvana, and Cloud Nothings. Like, you're not nobody.
And he's a plumber.
And he's a plumber, yeah.
It was.
It was a plumber.
Also, it's interesting you mentioned Today Is the Day, because I saw them not too long ago, and your drumming reminded me a lot of like Today Is the Day. The way you incorporate a lot of those like fills and like especially like those like heavy on the floor patterns. Do you listen to Today Is the Day at all, or were they an inspiration for you?
Yeah. I always really liked Temple of the Morning Star and In the Eyes of God. Those are the two albums that really hit for me. And what's the double?
Sadness Will Prevail.
Yes, Sadness Will Prevail. That album's pretty cool.
That album is special.
Yeah.
And also a lot of your guys' songs, speaking of like Sadness Will Prevail, include like these like huge instrumental passages, you know what I mean? That, like, are you inspired by post rock at all, or any of those like adjacent genres?
Probably a little. I mean, I don't know if I think about it in relation. I don't know if I think about it in relation to the band so much, but I do like first few like Sigur Rós records, and there's like things that bands like maybe Explosion of the Sky or whatever, or This Will Destroy You will do that I think is interesting, but I don't listen to that stuff too much. But I'd like some of that. I'm sure we borrow a little bit from all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I think that there's, we like, I mean, the thing about post rock that I think we probably have an affinity for is just the sort of layers and building, but we don't probably have too much affinity for, despite like some of our songs sort of having like longer, more meditative kind of stuff, or we usually try, even if we have long songs, we usually try to not waste people's time too much. So
So there definitely wasn't a moment wasted tonight. It was go from the start.
yeah, we try to edit a lot if we can help. I mean, there's Shane and I. Well, he just edits stuff constantly, and Nick and I have to hear it and be like, "Oh, okay, cool, we're changing that part, great." But there's a lot.
The part that I worked really hard on, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah, a lot of times you got to throw out your favorites, and that's okay. But there's a big ear for trying to like cut out anything we don't need.
yeah. Even though I mean, this was a double record. It's like super long, but like every song is as short as we can make it. Like we don't really like our you know, we've said this before, but it's like we, as far as like the music, we like to write music that, you know, is maybe challenging and maybe a little like hard to kind of get into, but we don't ever want to waste anyone's
You
time.
don't want to beat a dead horse. Like a good riff's a good riff, but also you can play a good riff too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we just
it just gets tiring.
yeah, we just really don't want anything to be people looking at their watches ever. So even if the song is long, it's because we've done everything we can to make it short, and it just isn't working. So
So to kind of wrap things up, what is the great fall song you are all most proud of?
ooh,
I mean, for me, it's "Thrown Against the Waves," the last song on that record that we played last tonight. I think we did a really good job with that song. It's
You saved the best for last?
yeah, I don't know. I listened to that song and it's like, to me, there is so much fat we trimmed out of it, even though it's still 12 minutes long. And it started off, the first times we played it was terrible. Like it really took a while of writing it and then playing it in front of people and seeing their reaction and feeling their reaction. Because we'll do that a lot, like the way like stand-ups will go and do their like set for a year at like little open mics and stuff. We'll like try out our new songs in front of people and like see how it goes over. And there's times where we're like, this song's gonna fucking kill. We play, we're like, oh, this song fucking sucks.
oh my god, yeah. There's definitely times when we're just like, we can't wait to play this song. Here we go, and then we play and we're like, that went over so fucking terrible.
I feel like you've got a song in mind.
on the album that we have played live once or twice, and we're like, it just
Doesn't work out.
live for some reason, and we just decide we're not going to play that song anymore, and they have been retired.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably like the first song on that record, Dragged Home Alive. That was just a song that we sort of Frankenstein together. It took forever because we had like written some parts of it with an old drummer, and then Nick came on, and we just for like ever had we had like parts where like it was like a part from 2 years ago spliced in with a part with another thing with the old drummer, and then parts with Nick, and it was like a very I thought pretty much up until we recorded it, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and that it worked, or so we believe it worked, is kind of why I think I'm pretty happy with it. Mostly just, I guess, relief more than anything.
I mean, yeah, I'm just proud of the album because we did. I learned a lot of songs in a very short amount of time. 13 songs in.
He started in November, and then we recorded in April, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
So he had to learn. He essentially had to write drums to 8 songs that are on the record, and then in that time, we wrote another 5 of kind of shorter songs.
Even wait for him to catch up.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, you guys are writing more songs."
We almost had 14.
They were really
Yeah.
taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, he's
No, it was fine.
He's an
It was
incredibly
good.
quick learner. It was insane, and we were just like, "Yeah, we're gonna take advantage of it." So,
We're not going to do that again. That was too much work.
I mean, there were parts in that album of that were like I went in with some uncertainty that where I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing here yet, and but it kind of, the necessity of doing it created some pretty cool stuff that I guess I don't know. I guess if I had more time to think about it, I don't know if they would have turned out the same.
Yeah.
So like having, going in and being like, I'm not sure. Let's just do a take and see what it sounds like. And then, a lot of them turned out. And
yeah, and it's also like it's 2 guys who don't know how to like we play a lot of stuff that's in like weird time signatures and things, but we don't really understand how that works. It just kind of sounds right.
Yeah.
And Nick doesn't understand how it works either. And so it's like
much better idea of how it works. And yeah.
but so we're just like, oh, we think it's like,
It's 1, 2, 3. You're like, no, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, it's a lot of like us being like, oh, it's just like a 7 and a 3 and then a 2, and he's like, no, it's just like 2 6s. Like, stop being weird.
Yes,
So
they do that a lot.
yeah, so
Hey, music theory. If you just stop counting like nerds, everything's a 4, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have to try to figure out how to take what they do and then turn it into a much more simplified version of a riff.
Yeah.
I mean, really, our like one of our big goals, I think, of writing is because we really like writing stuff in weird time signatures, but we hate bands that show off the time signatures and are like, "Huh? Check this out." Like, we really try to be
So it's
as
on site with Tool, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we try to be as like non flashy.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Weirdly,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, like one of the bigger bands that has like really had really interesting time signatures, but still like made hits was Soundgarden. And they're not even like a
Yeah.
favorite band of mine, but like they have songs that are like in 13 and 7 and 9, and it's you don't think about it because they just put together a song that sounded like had hooks. You sang to it. You didn't realize you were like tapping your foot to 9. Like you had no
And
idea.
There's
Like,
also some bands that I've seen, like I'd rather not name names, but there were some bands that like overdo it. You know what I mean? And you're like, wow, this is like overly complex. It's beautiful, but like I'm looking around and everyone's bored, and there's one person. I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, you got except for one dude with sheet music, just going, "This is good shit right here." Everyone else is just like, "What are they doing?" You know?
Yeah. We don't really. I think anytime we've written something where it's sort of like, hey, check this out. Like, this is going to be, really mathematically hard to follow or like impressive. We're just like, it's not. If it's not that fun to listen to, there's just
Not a point.
what's the point?
or you spend like months working on this weird pattern, and it's like 4 seconds of the song, and you're like, why did we just do that? Like, there's
And why do we still do that?
yeah, every second I'm rocketing towards my death, and we could have written like 4 more songs instead of writing a 10-second part that's in 13 and then 5, blah, 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 like.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
awesome
This
to
is
see you guys
great. We
play.
really appreciate it.
Yeah.